Hey guys, what's going on? Maya Elious here, CEO of Built to Impact. And today's question is, how do I turn down a lead who is no longer a good fit? And you know what? I'm going to add another question to that. How do I fire a client who is not a good fit? Because that is a question that I also get pretty often with inside of my program. So the beauty of niching down with your offer is that you get to be more selective with the people that you want to work with. And it is very important to be selective with the people that you work with, because when you are more specific about who your ideal client is, the likely it is for you to get better results for them. So for example, within our program, we specifically want to work with people who want to sell premium services as a coach or a done for you service provider in the online space. And we specifically want to help people who want to generate a minimum of $10,000 a month. So what we've had to do is reject people who are either not coaches, not experts, or not service providers. And we've also had to reject people who have a revenue goal that is lower than $10,000 a month. Now, we don't reject people for the sake of being mean. And I know that is a common fear that we have when we do have to reject people, because in everyday life, nobody really likes rejection. But when you reject people, it gives them the opportunity to find another coach or a service provider who is a better fit. So when you run into that, how do you deal with it? When we reject people who are not a good fit, we tell them why. So first of all, we're really clear on our messaging, and on our application page, we say, this is for you if, please apply if, and we make sure that we reiterate that message. When somebody who doesn't fit within our ideal client or target market does apply, we email them and say, hey, thank you so much for applying. After reviewing your application, we don't think that you are a good fit because you have a revenue goal that is, below $10,000, or we primarily work with experts and you are more of XYZ. So just explain yourself with grace. And if you do have a resource for them that could be beneficial, or even a referral, you can also add that into your response to them. Now, if you do happen to get somebody that slips through the cracks and you realize after working with them that they are no longer a good fit and you're not enjoying working with them, my suggestion is to have an honest conversation. But just because you might be calm about it or wanting to have an honest conversation, it doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. So remember to give the other person grace when you're having that conversation. In everything we do, we want to make sure that we are operating with the level of grace and even a level of tact with our delivery. So if you're working with a client who is getting on your last nerves, or you're realizing it's not a good fit, they're not getting results, you need to understand why that's happening. So my suggestion is sending them an email and saying, hey, I wanted to touch base with you. Can we get on a call at this time? I do recommend getting on the call and also recording the call. When you get on the call with them, let them know, hey, I just wanted to talk to you about the last few weeks of us working together. When I onboarded you as a client, here were the expectations, and here's been what's happened so far. So explain to them what your thought process was and how you thought this was going to go and what's actually been happening, and then talk about what you want next moving forward, because you may not even be ready to fire them. So you can say, hey, I wanted to level set expectations because I think there's been a miscommunication of how often I respond to your emails or the scope of work that you have been expecting from me. And I just wanted to make it clear that I do want to work with you, but I need you to keep in mind that I don't answer emails after 5 o'clock and I don't do this type of business. I'm here to serve you to do XYZ, listing out the scope of work. Now, if you know that 100% you do want to fire them as a client, you can say something similar and just say, I don't think that it's going to be a good idea for us to continue together in business, and I want us to be able to end this relationship amicably. Here's what I can provide to you to be able to close out our relationship. And then, of course, you two do need to discuss payments, any refunds, or any ending of payment. But you do need to be able to protect your peace and protect your business. So the first thing is always knowing the type of client that you want and being clear on the scope of work.